Hello, everybody. One, excuse the mess. I've been working on my truck all day, so I'm covered in grease and grime and fuck who all know. Who knows, right? So anyway, I had a lot of people trying to ask me questions today while I'm in the middle of this project, and one, I want to apologize if I come off short to anybody. Um, if you if you never worked on an old vehicle, right? One, everything's gonna break. As soon as you touch it, it's just gonna fucking break. And it's just gonna piss you off. So that's where I'm at right now. Everything I've touched is broken. Every brake line is broken. Bolts are broken. I've got rust in my eyes. So it's not been a good day for me personally. So I want to apologize. I've been short to people that's been trying to talk to me today. I've been busy. Can you see? I've been busy dealing with that today. So anyway, I've had people trying to talk to me about the Syria thing, right? And okay, so let's keep this short and sweet. All right, so Syria is a shithole country, plain and simple. Okay, but Syria is the key to the Middle East, and what I mean by that is all the oil fields are landlocked. Okay, so to be able to ship the oil out of the Middle East to the rest of the world that buys their oil, it's got to go by pipeline to the Mediterranean. Those pipelines go through Syria. Okay, so and you can look it up on a map, you can Google it, whatever, and you'll see miles and miles and miles of just pipeline going from all these oil fields through Syria to the Mediterranean to be loaded on the ships and then shipped out from there, which is why a lot of the refugees leaving Turkey and Syria via boat are missed because there's a lot of commercial traffic floating through the Mediterranean. Never mind military naval traffic. So they get missed and they make their way to Greece and et cetera, et cetera. So that's why Syria is all over the damn news, is because anything that starts going wrong in Syria has a possibility of disrupting the oil going to the world that buys and uses Middle Eastern oil. Okay, yeah, there's other ways out, but 90% of the oil coming out of the Middle East comes through Syria. Okay, and all the pipelines are privatized and they have private security to protect them. Blah 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 blah. But when there's a fucking civil war going on in Syria and Iran and Turkey and et cetera, it has a possibility of disrupting the flow of oil, and that's all this is. Don't let anybody fool you into thinking it's any other kind of thing. It's all about the oil. Plain and simple. Okay, that's why for all these years now, Western countries have had their damn fingers in the politics and policies and procedures of the Middle East, is to maintain that oil supply. Okay, the United States, Great Britain, Russia, has done their damnedest to do the best they can into controlling that supply out, or at least maintaining that supply out, because let's be honest, even the people living in the Middle East don't get along with each other, and they've been fucking fighting and carrying on for centuries. This is nothing new. So, with that being said, that's why the U.S. is involved, and that's why Russia is involved, and Great Britain and France and every fucking body else is all about the oil. Now, did Assad use chemical or biological weapons on his own people? Fuck it, probably. I don't know. I wasn't there. He's the kind of asshole to do some shit like that. And there again, you're more than welcome to look back through history when a tyrannical power takes control of a country. A lot of times what happens is akin to genocide. They immediately kill off any political opponents, any dissidents, anyone who speaks out against the current government, the current regime, whatever. They're slaughtered, murdered, imprisoned, lost in a big fucking pit somewhere. Okay, this is nothing new. This has been going on for centuries, and will continue to go on for centuries. When you're dealing with a non democratic country, okay, any kind of socialist, communist, fascist, the way they deal with dissidents, the way they deal with political opponents is to slaughter them, basically. You look at in South Africa right now, it's going on. You look in anywhere in the Middle East, it's going on. There all these civil wars, while they're being funded by us and the Russians and the British and the Italians and the French and who the hell ever. It's just a matter of getting two opposing forces to decide that they can't get along anymore, and they start a fight. Okay, so to keep the oil flowing, the West has to get Assad out of power, basically, or under control. Okay, that's the short and skinny of it. That's the plain and simple truth of it. He's either got to go, or they got to get him under control. Somebody's control. Okay, because you can't have all this civil war going on and potentially disrupting the flow of oil from the Middle East to the West. It's that simple. Okay, they have it, we want it, and we will do whatever the fuck we got to do to get it. We've proven this as a country time and time and time again. Okay, so for everybody's been asking questions, do I think it's a good idea? Do I agree with it? Blah 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 blah. No, of course it's not a good idea. This is not, because we have the potential of starting a war. Okay, not a police action, not helping, not assisting, not humanitarian, a fucking war. World War III, okay, is basically the potential of what we have on our hands right now, what we possibly could be starting as a country. Okay, do I blame Big Orange? Do I blame Donald Trump? No, because let's be honest about it. Like any other leader, okay, whether it's a business leader, military leader, leader of a country, these decisions are not made unilaterally. Okay, he's got advisors, he's got people in place to give him information. So he's been fed information, he's been given advice on what to do and how to do it, and he made a choice. Okay, now I'm not gonna second guess the president. That ain't my job. All right. If I feel that if there was a possibility of finding a different solution, a faster resolution, I'm sure that would have been discussed. Okay, now even for my tinfoil hat wearing friends, right? We can blame all this on him trying to cover up the whole porn star thing, the whole Russian thing, blah 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 blah, whatever. I'm not getting into all that right now. I am not in the mood, honestly, to carry on with that. The short and skinny of it is that I'm not going to second guess the president about this. Not yet. Okay. The Russians have already threatened, made threats. Not necessarily come out and threatened, but they have made threats about a possible retaliation. So as China, because China is backing Russia, but Russia is backing Assad, the president, premier, grand poobah, whatever the fuck he calls himself, of Syria. So Russia's backing him, China's backing Russia. So you're looking at, honestly, the three big boys on the block, the three big bullies on the block, about to have a show out. Okay, in Great Britain, France, Australia, Canada, no, they're not going to be counted in this. I know Great Britain helped in the attacks last night, but they're not a world power anymore. I'm sure they're going to throw in behind us, but when you're talking about Russia, China, United States, we're the three big bullies on the block. Whether you like it or not, that's us. We are the three biggest bullies on the block, in the schoolyard, however you want to look at it. Eventually, they're going to have to fight it out. And I think that's what's coming, honestly. So there you go. Okay, the short and skinny of it is this man was accused of gassing his own people. Did he do it? Don't know. I wasn't there. Syria did sign the same treaties that we in Russia did, as far as not producing and using chemical and biological agents. And that did happen. Okay, there's no question about there being a chemical agent used on those people. It's just a matter of who used it. So the attacks last night were on 3 targets that are supposedly the ones that researched, engineered, and produced these chemical agents. Okay, not necessarily on Syria or on any sort of political target, any sort of military target, but on these 3 targets that were engineering, producing, manufacturing these chemical and biological agents. So all I can tell you is keep your eyes on the news. Now, I had somebody say, well, they don't know, the news is just so full of bullshit lately. And it is. Turn off the local news unless they're doing an actual live broadcast, briefing or something like that. And get on the internet. You're on the internet right now. Get on the internet and look up the BBC or even something out of Canada. Was it the CBC, the Canadian Broadcasting, CBN, whatever it is? Canada, the BBC, the Irish, was it the Irish Times, Irish Republic News, something like that. There's lots of news flowing out of Europe that is not controlled by our government, so they don't give a damn what they report. So that's where I get a lot of my news from, and maybe you should look into it as well if you're worried about the local news feeding you a bunch of shit, CNN and MSNBC, Fox, whatever. Okay, so yeah, definitely keep your eyes on the news, especially with this. Next couple of days are going to be really important as far as if Russia is going to have any sort of retaliation, or China or Iran or Syria or whatever. And just keep your eyes on the news. Be ready to react. Make sure you got your bag with you. Make sure you got supplies in the house. Make sure you got, just basic stuff. If something was to happen here, can you make it 4, 5, 6 days without getting to a store or something like that? Don't let your cars get below half a tank of gas. If something was to happen to the oil and they have to start rationing oil. Got crap falling on my hair. I'm so sorry about that, y'all. If something was to happen to the oil line and we have to start rationing gas or rationing supplies, don't let your car get below half a tank of gas. Don't, make sure you got food in the house. Make sure you got bottled water. Make sure you got the cell phone charger, 2-way radio, whatever. Any way you can communicate with your neighbors and your friends. And just keep your eyes on the news. Okay? All right, let me, let's see. Yeah, let me get back over here and start messing with this thing again before I just, what turned into a couple-hour job now is going to be about a 3-day job, apparently. I swear to God. Well, if it wasn't for bad luck, I'd have no luck at all, right? Was it gloom, despair, and agony on me? All right, y'all have a good night.